Trump announces there's going to be Kennedy Center Awards. You know, he's changing the name of the ballroom to the Melania Trump Ballroom, and he fired the old Kennedy Center staff because they were doing all rainbow trans shows. He's like, this isn't the arts. This is the hugest thing. I'm an artist. I'm a mass media artist, but also I'm a fine artist. This involves film. He names, they're going to recognize George Strait and Sylvester Stallone. This is a huge change, guys, because Trump's not just politics. He's not just helping farmers. He's not just helping cops. He's helping all the fruity artists. It's changing. Culture is changing before our very eyes. I couldn't be happier to go over this material with you. I'm Doug in Exile. I'm going to show you why. Remember, politics are downstream from culture. That's what Andrew Breitbart said. So now we're going to go into culture. Then I'm going to roll it back later and show you how this is a nightmare to Democrats. They think they own the arts. We own the Kennedy Center. It's about us and our elites. You got to wrap women in plastic and cover them in blood. That's what art is. And Trump's talking about a beautification of Washington, D.C. And Stallone he's considered a meatball. Stallone's considered a bad actor. Never got recognized for that great acting by Hollywood, an incredible actor. And so Trump is resetting the world, healing the world.
Next, we look forward to honoring three-time Oscar nominee, Golden Globe Award winner, and action movie icon, and a friend of mine. Very unique man. He's somebody that doesn't do these things. I said, I wonder if he'll accept, because some people don't really want to be honored. They don't care.
Because it's career suicide.
But he was very honored to be honored, I will tell you. He's a very special guy. A real talent, never been given the credit for the talent. There was nobody else could have done the roles that he did like he did. I'm not even close, and they've tried, and they didn't work out too well. His name is Sylvester Stallone.
Guys, you're not going to believe who's going to host this event. It's crazy. You're going to smile so big after this.
It's very few, almost, if any, people that could have taken a name and made it so incredible, like Rocky, Rambo, Creed, and others. But think of it, Rocky, Rambo, if you did one, you're good. You do two. And I'll never forget, I was a young guy, and I went to see a thing called Rambo, and it had just come out. I didn't know anything about it, but I was in a movie theater, like we used to go to movie theaters a lot.
Remember that?
And I said, this movie is phenomenal. What the heck? And that turned out to be a monster. Rocky is Rocky. I mean, the way that happened, you know, Sly had no money, nothing, and he went around, and everybody wants to do a boxing movie. It's the most, you know, probably more than any other type of character, boxing, always boxing. It's so great. And there's rarely been anything like this one. John Voight did a great one, as you know. Champ, great.
Trump mentions another movie
that was
by
right
John
there
Voight.
Too. John Voight's a phenomenal person, phenomenal actor.
Yes, he is.
But Sly came in and he had no money. He wrote a script along with thousands of other people writing scripts on a boxer. And for some reason, a studio picked up this and liked it. And Sly he's in an old car that he came in from Brooklyn or someplace in New York, but I think Brooklyn. It barely made it to California. He was sleeping in the car. I mean, he had nothing.
He was sleeping in the car. This is the great American story that Trump is really saying. It's more than just, look, and they cast Rocky. They tried having all these other actors play the role. They either didn't have the physical body or they didn't have the acting. But just imagine a normal Hollywood guy, instead of him doing the grunt and Adrian, you gotta come over here, you know, you do the. And then suddenly they get a normal actor going, yo, Adrian, hey, Adrian, you know, some big, shiny, good looking Robert Redford, you know, and they offered Stallone $1 million just for the script to go away. And he ends up starring in it. And this is an incredible, it's a perfect movie, first of all, but it's an incredible rags to riches story, because Stallone's life is the same thing as what the movie Rocky is about. You know, a kid who goes from nowhere to getting, you know, a shot at the big time. That's the great American story. And so many of us, we call it now the Rocky thing, okay? So he could have taken $1 million. He holds out. And finally, everyone agrees that he's the one to do the acting. Remember, he's a meatball. He's an actor. He was in Lords of Flatbush before Rocky, this tiny thing with Henry Winkler when he became friends with him. Remember the Fonz? Henry Winkler is the one that got his script seen by the studio for Rocky, his friend. They go way back. Best friends forever. Actors. And Stallone knows you have to write your own role if you really want a good role. So he wrote himself a role and got the acting controlled. But now we're going to go back to the Kennedy Center, guys. You're not going to believe who's going to host the Kennedy Center this year. Take one guess. You're going to die when you hear. I'm dying already when I hear this, guys. This is incredible. It's going to be televised for the Kennedy Center. Have you guessed?
I've been asked to host. I said, I'm the president of the United States. Are you fools asking me to do that? Sir, you'll get much higher ratings. I said, I don't care. I'm president of the United States.
He's the president of the United States. He's going to host the Kennedy Center Awards. He's going to host. It's going to be televised. He's going to be up there. He's going to have a tuxedo and a bow tie, and writers are going to write jokes for him. Hey, did you guys hear? It's going to be an incredible show. The president of the United States has never hosted an event, a televised event. This is going to be a TV show. It's like Donnie and Marie starring the president. Now, he knows how to be a host from The Apprentice. He has experience, and they're right. He'll get bigger ratings. This is going to be the biggest show of the year. For me, I'm going to laugh. Yes, I laugh at him, at how absurd it is, at how wonderful life is, that he was almost put in prison by Democrats. And now the Democrats' art form is theater, movies. We're like, you Republicans, don't even come play. Don't even come talk to us. We've got this. This is sacred. And now he's going to be the host. He's also qualified. You know, he has one of the most successful shows in The Apprentice ever. He's a TV personality. He was in Home Alone, one of the highest box office. He has acting credentials, okay? But it's just funny because I know this drives liberals crazy. The Kennedy Center is their holy of holies. It's like, Trump, you stay out, you unclean filth. And he's coming in. We're picking Stallone and country music star George Strait, and I'm hosting. I'm dying. It's the greatest moment of my life. Trump's wins are insane. Trump's changes to culture. I have agents in Hollywood. They're good friends of mine. Liberals, and they see me as this mutant. They're like, you conservative Christian, you people are mutants. I once had a meeting with a showrunner with one of the guys over at Nickelodeon, and he said, Doug, what are you doing in this town? You're a great artist. You make great shows, but you don't belong here. You voted for Bush. Are you crazy? We're in a Democrat cult. What are you doing here? And Trump's going in, top of the top, taking over, and now he's hosting. Susie Wiles is the one that made him do it.
I won't do it. They said, please. And then Susie Wiles said to me, sir, I'd like you to host. I said, okay, Susie, I'll do it. That's the power she's got.
Susie Wiles got him to host the Kennedy Center Awards. The Democrats are going to poop their diapers. The male Democrats are going to poop in their dresses. Now, we're going to go back just a little bit farther here. I'm going to cover a little bit of making a few other just topical points. This is Democrats admitting they set Trump up. They only pick positions to be against him because Trump drives them nuts. By the way, this is the only question I have about JD Vance winning is, can JD Vance win? Because part of why Trump won is because the Democrats hated him so much, they went nuts and embarrassed themselves. I don't know if JD Vance has that power to make them go so crazy that they go around in public and just start screaming and we're pro-trans. Like, they hate him so much, and then they weaponize the government, the FBI, the media, vote machines. I don't care what it is. Science. They focused everything they could in America against him. They debanked Melania and Barron. They used banks. They used science. They used the arts. They used the church. If you're in a woke church, leave. Get out of Sodom and Gomorrah if they're flying the rainbow flag at your church. They take over everything, and teachers' unions. And then they pointed against Trump. And he's just, this is about the destruction of the Democrat Party. I've never been happier. I'm watching it happen before my eyes. I can't even believe it. I'm way bigger of a skeptic. I'm going, it'll never happen. People, America, they're not that serious. They're a little screwed up. Culture, it's going to win. Trump might get a little victory. Haha. I had no idea. This was going to be the dismantling of materialism, Marxism, Satanism, liberalism, elitism, universities, oil, farming, wars. He's ending 6 wars. He's a monster.
Some of the leaders in Washington, it's not because they're not left enough. It's because, Chuck Schumer came out with no strategy, no forewarning, and just said, we're going to fold on the CR. I mean, I think he could have done a better job of explaining what the strategy was and what we're going to do, but there wasn't anything like that. I think Democrats are learning, and I'm going to agree with you that Democrats cannot only be the party of resistance. We cannot, we resisted so hard between 2017 and 2024. We impeached the guy, we prosecuted him, convicted him of 34 felony counts, and guess what? He still got elected. So I don't know how much harder we can resist right now.
Are you admitting that the case against Trump in New York was part of the organized Democratic Party resistance?
It was a Democratic prosecutor, and at the time, I said I thought it was unwise. I went on Fox News and said it was unwise.
You just got to admit that those 34 felonies were to keep him from getting elected. That's not a pursuit of justice. Democrats will, yes, not just the arts, they'll even use judges, all forms of justice to destroy Trump. This is big picture stuff, guys. I hope you're getting the head around this. I'm trying to help you get your head around this. This isn't just, I'll report the news, whatever. What I want to get in your head is that the difference between Democrats and Republicans is Democrats don't believe anything exists but their pursuit of power, okay? And the pursuit of power will ruin everything. It destroys countries, it destroys families, it destroys political structures, it destroys everything, and here's why. I'll give you an example with the arts, okay? Hollywood and Stallone and Trump, which we opened the show with, because I've seen it in the arts myself. Art is the pursuit of beauty. Truth, goodness, and beauty. Everything is, by the way. Law is supposed to be a pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty. Marriage, pursuit of good truth, goodness, and beauty. A country, pursuit of good truth, goodness, and beauty. Our lives, okay? So a Democrat has this thing called an art form to make films, or to sculpt, or to teach, or to make music, or to write poetry. And what happens is they go, in our pursuit of power, this is what Marxism does. They say it's an octopus and its tentacles reach into everything. And as soon as it becomes hashtag Marxism, the Marxism part of it takes over. So if you're in a church that is Christian Marxism, it's not Christian, it is Marxist. Marxist tentacle takes over your church. Marxist art is not art, it's Marxist. So that's what the Democrats do. If you have an art form like movies, movies are supposed to make money, put butts in the seat, be true, good, and beautiful, entertain everyone. They don't do that anymore. That's why theaters are empty, because their ideology came in and took over the art form. And now it's just Marxist propaganda. Anti-family, anti-dad, anti-structure, anti-expert, anti-institution, anti-God. Okay, all the structures Marxism has to destroy and pulverize so they can get the power. Power comes in and takes over everything. The Democrats can't be trusted with any political seat because their judge went after Trump for political reasons. Now they sit there, pretend like they're after the law. We're going to reinvent the law. What do we have to do? We got to take away the statute of limitations on this lawsuit. We have to invent 34 felonies against Trump. Your law just became a Marxist institution. It no longer functions as a courtroom. See what I'm saying? Big picture, get your head around that. Big picture is where we're going. This Democrat just admitted it. It happens to law enforcement. It happens everywhere, guys. This is a show about the Democrats' universal desire for power. And suddenly, in their desire for power, you have the Kennedy Center that used to do classical symphonies and Shakespeare, and now they're doing queer drag shows. Why? Now they're doing black DEI plays. Why? They're putting noise up on stage with instruments doing dissonant chords and just chaos. Why? And Trump's taking it back. Goes, now we're doing George Strait and Rocky, and I'm hosting because I'm the boss, yes, of the arts. I couldn't be happier.
Because at the time,
There were a lot.
Just to be clear, this wasn't, just to be clear, everybody who now touts the 34 felonies, take it from Liz. This was not a real case. This was a plot to upend the presidential campaign, which
I just think it was a boneheaded move by Alvin Bragg.
Spinning, in some ways, the liberal lawfare never ended, with Comey still showing symptoms of Trump derangement syndrome.
Comey, see how this is all one big through line, guys? You'd think the politics couldn't touch the arts. I watched the last video I did. Democrats took children from their parents without telling the parents. When the underage girl was pregnant, they took and got them an abortion and killed the baby. A public school did without telling the parents. That's the Democrat Party. Evil Marxists, they will throw their tentacles out farther and farther until they're jailing you for free speech. They're going after Elon Musk for disinformation. They're going after this person for not separating their trash in the right recycler. If you don't believe they're satanic. This is why I call it satanic. People think I'm exaggerating. Oh, Doug, you're so funny. Satanic faith. I go, I'm only half making a joke there. It's satanic. Satan does the same thing. Now, I just got to do this, the Democrat Party on strategy. This is terrible. I know you guys, we together, we collectively laugh at and mock MSNBC, Mika Berzinski, on Trump doing the jujitsu, forcing, which ends up, because Trump is for something, Trump wants to stop crime in DC. And he tricked the Democrat Party into defending murder and crime in DC.
And the murder rate, you can't keep saying violent crime is down, but the murder rate's up. To the average person, the murder rate's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats are, I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. That's Admiral Akbar from Return of the Jedi. It's a trap. Trump set a trap and they fell right in it. They're defending murder in Washington, D.C. Of course, they don't know that it's wrong. Mika Berzinski doesn't go, and guys, murder's still wrong, right? She's only against it because it's a trap. She says, we don't want to get stuck in that. We don't want to get caught in that trap. So let's go against murder. Not because it's wrong, but because Trump set a trap. That's how amoral, just what these are ghouls. Their conscience is gone like a zombie. The body is shambling around and moving, but there's no conscience informing them of good and evil, even when it costs you your job or credibility.
Yes, it's a trap. I mean, if it's not a winner politically to say, oh, you're wrong, look at the data. Because, if one violent crime happens in a very heavily populated part of the city, people hear about it and it's visceral. They don't want it. And they'll gravitate to the person who appears to be doing something about it.
I like how this is science to her. They gravitate toward the person who appears to be doing something about no kidding, Mika and Chris Hardball. Is that science to you guys? People are attracted to the person that ends the murder that's killing them and their friends. Yeah, that is a big explanation, especially when murder's brought over on the southern border. America was drawn to Trump. The Democrats were not drawn to them. Do you want to die? Never put an X next to a Democrat. Are you nuts? Look at this. This is my favorite right here. Carjacking offense heat map in Washington, D.C. Take a look at this, showing climate change fueled extreme heat in D.C. Just kidding. It's not ClimateGate. It's a map of D.C. Police Department's website showing hotspots for carjackings in the Capitol City. Look at this red blotch over here. Look at that. These are all the carjackings in Washington. Where's the safe part? Upper left over here in Brookmont. Look at this dark red, and look at the sharp line that stops as soon as you get out of the county. They didn't track the other counties, but this is why people are attracted. We like to keep our cars. I don't want to get carjacked, right? Democrats are so against common sense. They're evil and they don't care. They only care that this is a trap. We can't walk into this trap and start defending carjacking. No, carjacking in and of itself is evil, you dummy. You moral idiot, morally illiterate. Speaking of morally illiterate, here's Tom Homan on Trump. They've saved children's lives. We're rescuing children's lives. Biden, they did nothing. Kids dying, ran into prostitution, and they just watch them go by, watch them go right on by. And the band played on.
That's why they're angry, because we pulled the curtain back on the last 4 years of lawlessness of the Biden administration. They stood silent while a record number of women and children were sex trafficked in this country. Yeah. They stood silent when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across that open border. They stood silent when over 4,000 illegal aliens died making that journey. They stood silent. We had the largest number of known suspected terrorists entering this country through the.
They stood silent. Now, wait a minute. Democrats told me regarding racism that silence is violence. If you don't stand up and shout and march, you're complicit to the violence. And they stood silent when gang members were shooting mostly blacks in Washington, D.C. They stood silent when children were trafficked, when illegals came over the border. Silence is violence. Democrats are evil. They're not just bad. They're not just stupid. Your relatives might be dumb and ignorant. I get it. My relatives, my friends in Hollywood and stuff that are all Democrats, they're dumb. You'd have to be stupid by now and voting against your own interest. You're dumb. I'm sorry. There's no other way to put it. Willful ignorance. I'm being kind to say that you're ignorant, because if you knew, then you'd be evil. And you're probably that too. You probably do know. You probably just hate people's guts. You probably just hate Trump. You hate Trump enough that you're okay with children being trafficked. You hate Trump so much that you defend murder in DC. You hate Trump so much that you're okay with massively expanding the poor in America, so normal people can't buy eggs, can't pay their bills, can't afford anything. That's how much you hate Trump. You hate him. Here's my favorite. Democrats, if it wasn't for lies, they'd have nothing. This is AstroTurf. Things are about to get spicy in D.C. as Democrat-aligned NGOs, non-government organizations, start pumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into the D.C. to hire protesters to oppose Trump's efforts to reduce crime. This goes back to the beginning of Hollywood on Trump and Stallone. These are hired actors. Hollywood uses actors. They're paid protesters, fake people. They can't get people to actually go and protest, so they paid. Unprecedented amount of money being flushed right now into Washington, D.C. Crowds on Demand is reporting a 400% surge in demand for paid protesters. They still think we're going to believe all their dumb spam in public. Who's funding this, guys? Although USAID funding has been largely suspended, Democrat-aligned NGOs continue funneling money into paid protests, according to Adam Stewart, CEO of Crowds on Demand. That's the company. It's called Crowds on Demand. He said, hey, look, our money are being paid up 400%, our profits. The strategy is to hire 25 to 35% of the crowd whose presence draws in genuine protesters. It's spamming, who are then joined by agent provocateurs seeking to turn otherwise peaceful demonstrations into violence. This is all that Act Blue, fake stuff, fake hired protesters. Democrats are going nuts. Guess what? It won't work. Trump's too big. MAGA, you and I are too big. We have representation now in our government, not just Trump. It's Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, Hegseth, Speaker Mike Johnson, Pam Bondi. Get that into your head if you're still reading the websites that lie to you and say they're conspiring. They're part of the lies against you. We're focusing on the truth. We're saving people's lives. We're not spending time on spam like Epstein. Hillary Clinton is coming in to be investigated. The only one who might go to prison for Epstein will be Bill Clinton. These are good times, guys. I can't believe, of all the things, Trump is so tacky. Look at that guy's hair. Look at his big tie. Look at the way he talks. Look at the way he tweets in all caps. Totally unfashionable. Little did I know that an art form that I've spent my whole life pursuing and working in for 35 years, film, video games, animated shows, comic books, that Trump is over there reforming that now from the top down. Their stories are psycho. They're an assault on the arts, and it's about time Republicans start clawing back some space in our expression in truth, goodness, and beauty of music and acting. And we'll see it at the Kennedy Center together as we watch Trump host. I'm Doug in Exile.